My wife was pregnant, very pregnant. I mean, her belly was the size of a large watermelon. She couldn't even see her feet as she walked. And it was our first boy. I was working full-time at the church, but we were not receiving any salary. You see, when I came to the pastor to tell him that I felt God was calling me for full-time ministry, he asked me, "Who's calling you?" And I said, God's calling me. "Are you sure God's calling you?" I said, "I'm positive." So he paused for a few seconds and then he said, "So if God's calling you, I'm not calling you, so I'm not going to pay you anything. If God's calling you, He will take care of you." I remember I said something like, "Yeah, that's fine. I'm not doing this for the money. I'm convinced it's God who's calling me." So the pastor welcomed me. He handed me a broom and a mop and sent me to clean the sanctuary, the toilets, and things like that over the following weeks. Basically, I was there to do, whatever was needed to be done, running errands and things like that. I had no salary, and all of my time was taken by the church. When I got home, I would go washing the neighbors' cars for some money, and when all the cars in the neighborhood were cleaned, I offered my neighbors to clean their water tanks, which in Mexico are on the roofs of the houses, and they get really yucky with water algae and stuff like that. So anyways, I would get like $5 after a few hours of hard work on those roofs. And I remember on one occasion, my brother came home and he wanted to give me his tithe. He said he knew I was working for the church and was not receiving any money, so he wanted to give me his tithe. I was grateful, but I didn't take it. Instead, I told him that he should bring it to the church as we are instructed in scriptures and trust the Lord that it will be used in the best way possible. Now, from that day on, my wife and I decided that we wouldn't tell anyone about our personal needs or things we lacked but the Lord's. Our fridge was empty, and we had only been eating scrambled eggs that whole week. In fact, we no longer had cooking oil for the eggs, so my wife would stir quickly on some water, and as I watched her fixing dinner, I couldn't stand it any longer. So I went to her prayer room by myself and I cried before the Lord. I couldn't understand why we were not being taken care of by God. I said to him, "Father, if I was working for a secular guy or a businessman and he saw our needs, he would be moved and help us. How come I'm working for you, the King of Kings, and we are in this way? I don't understand." And so while I was praying there was a moment of sudden understanding. I can't explain how, but there was this thinking that God was there with us and that I needed to trust Him. It was as if God was saying, "I want to take care of you, but you need to believe." I remember I thought, "Okay, Lord, I'll believe." So I'll call my wife and I said, "Let's go. We're going to go get some groceries." And we went to this grocery store, kind of like a Walmart. And I grabbed a card and I told my wife, "You go ahead and put everything you need." And she asked me, "How? I mean, did you get any money?" I said, "Honey, just do it. Put everything you want, please." And I met being that amazing, prudent wife she is, she was choosing the cheapest stuff possible. Like those cardboard tasting like plain cereals they used to sell back then. I said, "Honey, put the things you like, like the Fruit Loops or the Captain Crunch, just do it." So we came to the cashier with the card stacked up all the way, and the lady began passing the products through the machine, like beep, 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 with every product. And I thought it was my heart going like beep, beep, beep. It would be like a flat liner, like beep, but I was praying in silence, "Lord, please help me." And when there was just a few more products to go, I feel a tap on my shoulder, and it was our pastor. He says, "Hey guys, how are you doing?" "Oh, we're doing great, just doing some grocery shopping." And then we got interrupted by the lady, and she gave us the total. I can't remember exactly how much it was, but it was an outrageous amount of money. And before she was finished speaking, the pastor pulled out his credit card and said, "Guys, please let me bless you with this." And he paid for the whole thing and left. We barely said thank you, and we were in shock by what just happened. It was a crucial moment in our lives where God shed His light on one of the cloudiest moments in our walk of faith. But it was also a moment where God showed us His faithfulness and helped us understand better that He is in fact looking after us. We've never done that again ever since, but God has provided in amazing ways for our family throughout the years, and even with our children in university and the challenges of growing less young, we would never trade serving our Lord for financial security or anything else. The God who shone his light into this world with the coming of his only Son will shine his light in our hearts and give us understanding in the warmth of his grace.